Hello and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Jacqueline Dorsey of Lean Frontiers and I'll serve as your host today. I'm excited to bring to you today a short webinar on TWI facilitated by Dick Jackson. Dick is a master trainer for the TWI Institute and works to introduce TWI to companies across the globe. This session is being recorded if you want to refer back to it later. So for now, let me turn things over to Dick.
Okay, thank you, Jacqueline. This is Dick Jackson from TWI Institute, and I'm going to be describing basics of how TWI job instruction and job relations work together to help an organization get to real standardized work and why that's important to an organization. Now, in order for any person in an organization to consistently perform any job well, they must first of all know what a good job looks like and know how to do that job. And that's they have to have the skills that the job requires. And that'll be covered with TWI job instruction portion, which is the skill to do the job. And then beyond that, they must want to do a good job. Or in other words, they have to have the will to perform the job well. And so that's going to be covered with the job relations section of TWI. And so in this session, I will discuss how TWI job instruction and job relations, when used together, get all workers to perform each task in a standardized one best way, thereby reducing variability and increasing quality while reducing cost and improving your KPIs. Now, TWI job instruction, first of all, the skill component here, the skill to do a job. And one of the things in TWI job instruction, we need to standardize on how we actually perform jobs. When I go to companies all over, what I typically find is there's a lot of variability in how people perform the jobs, from shift to shift, from worker to worker. Many workers, many ways. And this leads to variability in outcomes, which are turned up in terms of losses, whether it's scrap or rework or downtime. And this happens a lot because much of the training is done by what we call the buddy system. In other words, a person is hooked up with someone who's been on the job for a long while, and then those people are assigned to train the new person how to do the job. And of course, there's lots of different buddies, and they would try to do a good job, but they might train them a little bit different than each other person. Here again, leading to variability. And so in order to drive out this variability, we need to standardize how we actually perform, and so that every worker can perform in the same way. And if we're going to standardize, we don't want to standardize on just any way, but we want to identify what's the one best way to perform any particular job function. And so one of the things job instruction does is to provide a skill for how do you come up with the one best way in order to do a job. We call that the job instruction breakdown. And so the one best way, we're always focusing on, as TWI always does, quality, production or product delivery, cost, and safety. That's what we mean by the one best way. That's the way we measure against that. And this one best way, or job instruction breakdown, has key points in it. And these are the keys that help our best performers avoid the mistakes and avoid those losses so that we can get away from that variability. What are the things that they do? How is it that they do it that can help us to avoid those things, and we capture those in the one best way. Beyond that, we also need to simplify and standardize the training method. not just the one best way, but how do we get this training across to others? And so this simplified, standardized training method is concentrated and focused on eliminating the waste in training also. Many companies train from huge documents, or they try to train from huge documents, things like standard operating procedures or work instructions. And even though the information in those documents may be all true or accurate, there's just so much, and it's not helpful during the training time. So we need to somehow simplify and standardize that training. And what that is, it's going to be the job instruction breakdown script, which is that one best way. So it will be a simple and easy to remember way of training. It's going to be training in which the learners are always getting everything in the same order. It's not getting mixed up from one trainer to another or from one time to another. And there's going to be nothing that's left out. So we don't forget to show somebody or tell somebody something. And this is going to be the same. This standardized training method and this script will be the same regardless of the trainer. So whether I'm doing the training or person A is doing the training or person X is doing the training, whether it's on the day shift or the night shift, whatever, it's going to be the same. We're going to standardize this training method to be able to get the one best way across to the learner. And beyond that, this standardized four-step method is one in which the trainee will have to prove to us by demonstrating that they can do the job, they can perform the job in this one best way. So in that way, we can be sure that the trainee really knows and actually can do. And this is going to help us drive out that variability that we've talked about. Now, part of the job instruction is also the training timetable, which is just a simple but very powerful prioritization tool. And it's a planning tool. Where are we going to begin the training? We can't train everywhere at once. If we try to do that, we'll be like the little boy that wades into the fight like a windmill, windmilling his arms and ends up getting beaten because we're just burning up energy. So this is a place in which we are going to focus on the quality, the production delivery, cost, and safety. And where do we need to make these improvements? And so this is where we focus on our losses, which might be from Pareto distribution of where's the problems now? Where are we having scrap, or where are we having rework, or where are we having downtime, or where is it taking a long time to train? So these are the things that we're focusing on that we want to change. And in job instruction, we're going to focus heavily on this. So this is going to be where we want to identify the one best way and where we use our standardized training in which we can verify that everyone can do it this one best way. And we get to where we know that they know how to do it. And then we're going to measure and adjust, always keeping our eyes on the losses and the KPIs. This is why we train, to make those things get a heck of a lot better. Now, in the job relations portion, this is the thing that, this is very, very important because the way we implement TWI from a people perspective is very, very important. And since supervisors get work done through people, it would be foolish to not involve workers in the standardization process. In fact, since our real standard is not something that's written in some document, but it's what we actually do on the shop floor, the workers are the most important part of any standardization process because they are the doers. So this is going to be very, very important, dealing with the will to do the job, wanting to do the job in this one best way. And the way that we implement this is we are using what we call the Job Relations Foundations for Good Relations. And so there are the 4 of them that you see on the screen right now, as we want to tell people in advance. These are pretty simple, but they're really, really important. Tell people in advance about changes that will affect them. In other words, the people that are going to be involved in doing the job or making the job instruction breakdowns a one best way, they're going to have a role in this, and it's going to be different. In general, people don't like change in their workplace routines because we humans are funny critters. We get very comfortable in what we are used to doing, and we really don't want to change that. And a lot of people could just, they may just think, the last time management decided to change something about my job, I got the short end of the stick. So I might not be so receptive or so excited about having you come into my area and change the way that I have to do things. It's almost like if you were the Internal Revenue Service, you say, I'm the IRS and I'm here to help you. Well, I'm not so sure about that. So by using the foundations, we need to build trust by the way we go about this, by the way we treat people with respect as we're implementing. So we're telling people in advance about changes that will affect them so that they can understand what's going on. And we'll listen to them while we're doing that. And we're going to let each person know how he or she is doing. And in this case, we're going to let them know what their role is going to be even. I mean, wouldn't you want to know what's your role or why we're doing something like this if we're making a change? And make best use of each person's ability. We're going to be doing that as well, and involving the people in this change process. And here again, giving credit when due. Everyone likes that. So this is something that is makes us so that people are much more receptive because we're being honest with people, we're involving people in the process, we're involving people and contributing to the process. And that's why at the bottom of this side I put down cooperation, which I like the word cooperate. And if you look at the word, it really means a together working, together, operate, work. So it's a working together. It's not a matter of doing what I want you to do. It's a matter of working together. So our whole approach in using the job instruction or the job relations foundations for good relations is that we're in this together. We will work with you. That's our approach. So we are consistently going to be using the job relations foundations, and that will build acceptance, which leads to participation. And so this is what addresses the will component of being able to do a good job. We have to want to be able to do that good job. So let's take a look at some of the job tasks that would be involved in implementing job instruction. And in this case, one of the things in job instruction is that we always prepare the workers for whatever's coming. And in this case, I said prepare the workforce. So in the area in which, let's say, we want to implement job instruction to drive out that variability, to get at those losses and drive those things away, preparing the workforce is the same reason that the farmer prepares the field. The farmer doesn't just go out there and throw seed. That doesn't work well. And so we have to get people ready to receive this. And so we're getting people ready to receive the new way that we're going to be working together also. And that's in job instruction. So, and in determining the one best way, well, we need to involve people in that too, because I think my way's the best way, right? Don't you think your way? Nobody comes to work and says, you know what, I think I'll be a knucklehead today. Nobody does that. People think that their way is the best way, so we need to involve people in saying, well, how are we going to decide what's the one best way? Is it yours, mine, or someone else's, or a combination? And then we're going to provide initial JI and JR training, because people will need the skill to make these breakdowns to come up with the one best way. They will need a skill to be able to instruct, to get it across to other people. And they need the skill in being able to work well with people as well, the JR skills. And then the timetable for training, where do we begin training? And so we'll be talking with people about where are we going to begin. We're going to begin where we really need the help. We're going to focus on the key performance indicator and those losses. And throughout the whole process, we're going to coach people through the acceptance of this. We're going to help them. We're going to listen to them, and we're going to work with them as they develop new habits in doing things the one best way. So job instruction and job relations really reinforce each other with each task that we're doing all the way through the process of implementation. Now, with JI and JR working together to continue on that, really, we are the first foundation that I've listed here. There's really no order to them, but I've just listed this. Tell people in advance about changes that will affect them, and tell them why we're implementing JI, and work with them to accept the change. Preparing the workforce, this is a two-way communication. We want people to understand that we will work with them. We want them to understand what their roles are going to be and how we all fit together in this. And we want to give them a chance to have their say also, because it's going to be important. And the way that we go about this is going to determine whether the people are resisted, whether they resist this or not. Change is going to happen. And so in this case, we plan out a good change, something that's going to be helpful for the people, for the company and everything. And we want people on board with this, and we want to work with them to accept the change. So we're always going to tell them in advance about what's involved in determining the one best way and why we're doing it. What's involved in this initial training, and why were you selected for this particular initial training if you're going to be in JI and JR training? And why are we starting in one particular area? And that's the focus. We're focusing on making the improvement where the improvement's needed. We're going after where the shoe is pinching the foot. And we're going to work with you. So all the way through the acceptance, this is a new way, but we will work with you. We're in this together. And JR Foundations make best use of each person's ability as another job relations foundation. Here again, pretty simple, but we're looking for abilities not now being used. So for instance, if we're determining the one best way, who is it that knows more about the job than those who do the job each day and who perform the job every day? And many times people, even though they're doing that, they will be thinking, perhaps, well, I think my way is better. Or, well, no, another person would think their way is better. Here's where we're going to do a little coaching also, and we'll let people know, by one best way, we're always talking in terms of quality, production or product delivery, cost, and safety. You show me how your way is better in one of those areas, and great. We'll make sure that we incorporate that into the one best way so that everyone can do it that way, and we can have much more reliable results, good results. And as far as never stand in a person's way, even provide initial JI and JR training. We're going to provide training to give you new skills. And you will have a chance, because you're the ones that know how to do the job. So we want to give you the skills to be able to use your know-how in a way that gets it across to other people much more easily, and that drives down this variability. Another foundation, job relations foundation, is let each person know how he or she is doing. And in this, we figure out what you expect of the person. In other words, preparing the workforce, for instance. What is each person's role going to be? Is it going to be helping to make the breakdowns? Is it going to be following the one best way once we've determined it? Is it going to be doing some instruction? Are you going to be keeping track of the data of the losses and everything so that we can focus really well? What's your role going to be? And I have to figure that out, and we have to come to the same understanding on that. And then also determining the one best way, you will have a role in that. You will have a chance. So you'd be talking with the people who are the workers in this work group, and say, you know, you're going to have a chance in helping determine the one best way. And so now's your chance. Now's your chance to get your way and to share your secrets and to tell why it is that you are able to do the job really well. Let's not let someone have to take 10 years to get up to that level. Let's give that to the person as quickly as possible. And then that's going to help our KPI focus, or it's going to help our losses get less and less as we go along. And so the people need to know here, how will this work? And what's my role? What's my role going to be? So here again, it's a two-way communication, and it's explaining this. Another job relations foundation, just give credit when due. And it's the same thing all the way through. If people are following the one best way, even though it's slightly different, when we go around and we're coaching them through the acceptance, we're going to give them thanks, say appreciate it. I know that it takes a little bit extra when you're used to doing something in one particular way for a long while, and now we've come up with what we think is a way that's even more reliable more often, but it's slightly different. So I appreciate your staying with it, and that's really important. It's really important to the project. And we need people to know that it's important to the project, and we need to thank them for staying with it. And when we find them, so if they're really helping with something, you know, don't delay it. Let them know right then. Let them know, tell them while it's hot. So tell them while it's hot. And we're using it all the way through every single one of these job instruction tasks as we're implementing. We're doing it for all of these. And so by using job instruction and job relations working together, they are not, sometimes we practice them separate. We have trainings that are separate, but really they're together. They are really, really together. They work together if they're going to work well. They work together. And these job relations foundations are going to help us avoid problems and enlist support. Basically what we're doing is we are respecting the people, and we're asking for their help. We're explaining why we're doing this. We're explaining what their role will be. We're listening to them, especially in coming up with the one best way, and then we're asking for your help. Very few things in this world say respect more than asking for someone to help you. If I didn't respect you, I wouldn't be asking for your help. So. And then job instruction and job relations working together here, just to sum this up a little bit, is here again we're looking at this job instruction, the skill to do the job, and the job relations, the will to do the job. You know, why should I want to do this? What's my role in it, and why should I care about this? So, and here again, it's just we're going after real standard work. In other words, not just something that's written down somewhere, but something that we really are actually doing. And beyond just having the job task steps listed, this is going to have key points which will let people know how. How is it that I do this task? How is it that I can do this task that is going to make it come out really well each time? And those are going to be the key points. This is what's going to do with the job instruction, the skill to do the job relations, the desire to do this also, the will to do the job, the willingness, is going to together get us to this real standard work. And by doing that, we are going to focus this in areas where our losses are right now. We're going to reduce those losses, and we're going to improve the key performance indicators for our business. And this all comes about with job instruction and job relations working together. Job instruction is sort of like what we're doing. Job relations is a way that we're doing it, is the way that we're doing it, that we're involving the people who actually do the work in actually making the work better. And so this is basically how it is. You can see that job instruction and job relations, a little indication or the little illustration that I put in there to try to depict what I'm thinking of, the idea of they're always working together. At every one of these nodes, at everything that we do in job instruction or anything else you're implementing, is that there's this people. There are people involved in this, people involved in everything, and you want these people really on board. In order to do that, they have to understand what it is we're doing and why we're doing it that way and what their role can be. And we want them to participate to the level that they are willing to and that they can. And we'll provide the skill and the will for them to do that and help them with the will to get that done. So, like we started out at the very beginning, TWI job instruction, skill to do the job. TWI job relations, will to do the job. We've got to have the skill and the will. And that those are the things that would give us a chance to, and a real chance to get to real standard work. And here again, not just something that's written down, but something that we actually do, and that everyone follows, that I can count on you doing it this way, you can count on me doing it this way, and we'll drive that variability out. And we're going to focus this always on these, where's the shoe pinching the foot right now? Those are the losses. This would be probably Pareto distribution of the problems that you're having right now, the losses, whether they're a particular, and there'll be several of these things that would be keeping us from doing as well as we want to, the key performance indicators. So if the key performance indicator is downtime, let's say on a particular process, the losses might be downtime due to reason A, downtime due to reason B, downtime due to reason C, and let's focus on driving those things way down, and let's focus on the parts of the operation where those losses come in, and let's do the training to make those losses get to be a heck of a lot less, and then we'll watch those key performance indicators improve. And we're going to always keep our eye on that, always, always. That's why we're doing the training. So that's what we want. We want the milk. So we have to stay there. It's not just about loving the cow. We want the milk. And so we're going to concentrate on that area. And the JI and JR working together, that's the only way that they work. If, if the people aren't involved, which is the JR component, then the JI component is just not going to work, or it's not going to work nearly as well. So this has been a quick overview and a way of describing, or at least my way of describing, how job instruction and job relations can work together. Now, there's a lot more to talk about than that, but that's the amount of time that we have. Now, if you have questions, I would be, for instance, how can we do this within our existing resources, or where do we begin, or anything like that? I'd be happy to talk with you, and I'd be happy to help you out. And my contact information you see right there on the screen. So that concludes the presentation for this afternoon, and I thank you for your time and for listening in. So.
All right. Well, Dick, thank you for facilitating our session today. As mentioned previously, today's webinar is being recorded. so look for an email following our time together for a link to the recording. Feel free to share this throughout your organization. So again, thank you, Dick, and thanks to each of you for participating in today's session. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.